Did you guys hear about the rural town that cheered on this administration's cuts for hospitals until their hospitals got cut? To break this down, I'm bringing in contributor Chris Mowry. Watch until the end and check this out. Thank you.
All right, there's a really wild story I want to talk about today. There's a small town in Missouri, a rural area that overwhelmingly voted for Trump, and they only have one hospital in this area. It's been serving the community for over 7 decades, has stayed open as the community has shrunk. They used to have a Walmart, the only Walmart in the area, closed, and through a lot of economic downturn, they have been able to stay open. But unfortunately, because of Donald Trump's big, beautiful bill, there are fears that it may close in a town that overwhelmingly voted for Trump. And frankly, I don't think they realized they were voting for this. And I want to talk about it today. Before we get into it, if you're new here, it would mean a lot if you click like and subscribe. I'm 23 years old. My name's Chris Mowry. I'm basically a Gen Zer who screams all the time about how Republicans suck. So if you want to stay on top of the news, here's some of my takes. It would mean a lot if you subscribe down below. Before we hop into this story, this is a theme we're seeing with MAGA and Trump supporters. And I don't really know how I feel so much of saying, you know, fuck around, find out, like these people deserve what they're getting. I really think most of the blame should go to Donald Trump for conning the American public. But at some level, I see you guys in the comments, I hear you, it's kind of mind-boggling. This went really viral the other day. This is on LinkedIn, oddly enough. A woman who owns a business. I've been getting a lot of hateful messages since my last post about my business struggles. Yes, my husband did vote for Trump. Yes, Trump's tariffs have seriously disrupted my supply chain and hurt my business. That said, I still support my husband. He voted for what he truly believed was right. It's complicated, but so is life. But like on an issue like this, is it complicated though? Like, really? This is where I get to the point where I'm like, okay, fuck around and find out. He told you a million times he's going to implement tariffs. And it really was pretty simple. He was lying to your face when he said tariffs are paid for by other countries. People like you and I screamed, hey, they're not. They're going to be paid for by American businesses, and this could really hurt. You can let me know what you think down below. But we see people like Ellie just in the last few days, a month ago. Latinas for Trump co-founder blast, quote, inhumane immigrant arrest. Florida State Senator and co-founder of Latinas for Trump issued a sharp rebuke of President Trump on Sunday as his administration seeks to ramp up deportations and other actions against migrants without legal status. Garcia took particular issue with reported tactics in southern Florida, where immigration officials have allegedly been making arrests in immigration courts and taking other steps to target individuals otherwise in compliance with legal orders. She posted on Twitter, quote, "This is not what we voted for. I have always supported Trump through thick and thin. However, this is unacceptable and inhumane." Regardless of how you feel toward these individuals, we're here now, and we.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe, and ring that notification bell so you never miss out on the latest political meltdowns, economic realities, economic ironies, and a reality check from the land of Make America Great Again. Today's story, oh boy, it's one for the books. Rural MAGA voters, yes, the same folks who cheered when Trump promised to cut welfare for freeloaders, are now furious about, or rather, after losing their Section 8 housing and food stamp benefits under the very policies they voted for. I guess no one told them that draining the swamp included draining their own dinner plate.
More than once when I was young, I heard my grandfather say, while we're fighting for crumbs under the table, the wealthy are eating steak up at the table above. Hey everybody, my name's Will, this is the Back 40, and let's talk about it. As a proud rural American, I often think about what my ancestors would think if they were to come back for just one day and learn that a white South African who grew up under the advantages of apartheid would come to this country, take advantage of all of the services that this country offers to grow his companies into multi-billion-dollar entities so that he could become a billionaire himself, and then would be put in charge of destroying the very government entities that helped him earn the wealth that he now has. I know what that same grandpa would say today. He would say the whole damn system is cattywampus and that boy is too big for his britches. In rural America, if we were to set aside the tribal differences that separate us for just a few minutes, we know in our heart of hearts that our ancestors would never agree to what we've allowed to happen in rural America. They believed in hard work, but they also believed in a fair shake. And they stood up in the late 1800s and early 1900s to fight the federal government when they put tariffs in place that made our own government the enemy of the farmer. It destroyed their ability to earn profits and took all of the control of farming and ranching out of their hands. They'd be very disappointed in us today for supporting a party and a president that does just that. They also believed in strong rural schools. All they asked for is that the kids growing up in rural America could go to school each day and receive the same quality education as the kids in the big cities. And those rural schools were the backbone of rural community. People would show up in droves on Friday night for those football games and on Tuesday and Thursday for basketball games, not to mention all those summer nights with hot dogs where they would come out and watch those baseball games that their children played in. And the rural school is under attack by politicians who want to privatize education and take money out of rural schools to pay for wealthy kids in the cities to go to their private schools. And last but not least, they dreamed of a day that whenever somebody was hurt in rural America, they would have access to quality health care. They wouldn't have to wait forever for medical help to show up to get them stabilized, and they wouldn't have to wait forever to get to the closest hospital. And right now, in the United States of America, in our rural communities, we're in danger of seeing 700 rural healthcare facilities close over just the next year. And that's wrong. And our ancestors never would have put up with it. So the next time a politician comes to you and says you should vote for policies that are bad for rural America because that's what it means to be a rural American, you tell them to go pound sand. There's only one answer to the problems that face us today, and that's for us to begin voting for our best interest and to work together to cure what ails rural America. I've been a proud rural American my entire life. But the truth is, in rural America, poverty is higher, wages are lower, and jobs are far and few between. And here's another cold hard fact. Beginning with the New Deal, continuing through to the Great Society, and ending just recently with the President's infrastructure bill, the Democrats in both rural and urban America have fought to provide a social safety net that's much needed in rural America while offering targeted incentives to help rural America grow. And our question is, when are conservatives in rural America going to join us in the fight? Hi guys, my name's Will, your favorite rural campaign and elections expert, and let's talk about it. Here are some hard facts we have to come to terms with in rural America. Nearly 75% of the poor living in rural America come from southern Republican states. Both poverty and our dependence on the social safety net is higher in rural America than it is in our cities and suburbs. In every section of America,
So I'm here in Central Florida, kind of the rural areas. Haven't been here in about 2 years. I walked into a Publix, saw a lot of old people, struggling to walk. When they were gonna pay their groceries, I literally saw them counting pennies. I just felt really bad for them, it's not looking nice in this area. I know this particular demographic here voted really hard for Trump, but they're struggling, I just really hope he knows what he's doing, because these people, you see Trump signs everywhere, right? I just really hope he knows what he's doing and he's gonna help these people out who have complete faith in him, I really hope he comes through, because it doesn't look nice around here, man.
U.S. farmers are starting to regret their vote for Trump. From beekeepers to soybean to hay producers, all of them are starting to say, I never thought that voting for Trump 3 times would result in me losing tens of thousands of dollars. A beekeeper out of North Carolina says, yeah, I proudly voted for Trump all 3 times. I flew flags for him and put signs for him in the yard. But now I'm out tens of thousands of dollars due to lost federal funding and tariffs, so I cannot export my products, my honey and my wax, to other countries like I could before, and nobody's buying it in the United States. Hay producers in Idaho and Utah that export alfalfa hay to China are now seeing 135% tariffs put on their product, and all of a sudden, they don't have anywhere to ship it. They held it all winter in hopes of sending it off to China in the spring, and now China's not willing to buy. Soybean producers are once again being hit harder than they were in the first Trump administration, and China, for its part, has diversified where it pulls these products from, with Brazil becoming the #1 soybean exporter, and other countries picking up the slack for honey, for beeswax, and for hay around the world. Now, China's doing a great job diversifying, and the United States has relied on exports to China for so long that its farmers are going to just continue to suffer. Once again, the majority of them voted for Trump, and now they're finding out.
Hey there, MAGA regret. It is really, really happening. And I grew up in rural Iowa, just 1 hour away from Omaha, Nebraska. Both of my children live in Nebraska. Most of my family are in Nebraska right now. And so this is a really big deal for me. But you guys voted for this. And I don't want to go through the whole thing that everybody else is doing. What I want to talk about is decency. So when I grew up, and probably the same thing for boomers, if you broke something, you made up for it. So say you go borrow your neighbor's ladder and it breaks. You go buy them a new ladder, your wife bakes them a cake or a pie, and you express your sorry several times, and you feel bad. So now your vote, because you did not pay attention the last time or read Project 2025 or anything to point you in the right direction and show you what exactly was going to happen, this is the vote that you made. And so I see many of you coming on here crying fake little tears, but I have zero sympathy for you, because what are you actually doing now? Are you protesting in any way? What are you doing besides trying to get other people to feel bad for you? It's going to require action, and it's going to require you to really go out and mobilize and make a difference now, because you are the one who did the thing. It was you. You made the vote. It's affecting you now, just like it affects the rest of us. So what are you going to do? I'm really anxious to hear what you're going to do to make up for it. We are not the ones that did this. So again, how are you going to make it right? The people in the Midwest it's very, very important to make up for your wrong. So what are you doing to make up for your wrong? Write it down. What action, what mobilization are you doing? This is really the only answer now. I don't want to hear any more tears or any more bullshit. What are you doing? Thank you.
Yeah, I voted for Trump. Absolutely. Did I know he was going to increase the tariffs? Yes, I did. However, I thought that the infrastructure would be set up prior for small business to come back to America and manufacture.
Why did you think that? What possible evidence could you have based that thought on?
So let's take a little road trip, shall we? Now, picture this. A small town in middle America, a population 3,000, one gas station, two churches, and an empty factory that's been closed since 2019. These towns overwhelmingly voted for Trump, which is the voted red, proudly sporting MAGA hats and Trump flags on their front porch. They believed they were defending real Americans from lazy city folks living off the system. Except now the system they depended on to survive just got slashed to pieces. Recent policies rollouts have tightened eligibility for SNAP, which is food stamp, and HUD Section 8 housing. Trump's administration, back in office with promises to end welfare dependency, has made sure that the new rules hit hard. But what nobody mentioned was that rural white Americans actually among the largest groups receiving these benefits. So while the MAGA base was cheering the crackdown on urban freeloaders, the axe swung right back towards them, cutting through rural counties where jobs are scarce, wages are low, and grocery bills are sky high. Now, imagine the scene. A Trump voter walks into the local grocery store, snap card in hand, only to find out it's been declined. Now, the shock, the betrayal. Suddenly, the takers they used to criticize are them. Somebody wake them up. You can almost hear the confusion. Wait, what do you mean my benefits are gone? I'm not one of those people. I worked my whole life. Yes, you did. And that's the part that hurts most. Many of these voters didn't see themselves as part of the system they helped elect politicians to destroy. But when you cheer for policies that cut federal aid, there's no special exemption for loyalty. The government doesn't hand out MAGA only food stamps. And let's not forget the cherry on top, some of these same voters proudly posted online, we need to stop giving out free stuff. Well, mission accomplished. Let's break this down politically and economically for a moment. Rural America has faced decades of decline, factory closures, shrinking populations, and a lack of investment. So, federal assistance programs like SNAP and Section 8 have quietly kept many families afloat. But when Trump and GOP lawmakers campaigned on cutting entitlements, the math doesn't lie. Those cuts hit rural states the hardest. The irony is these states are the political backbone of the movement that supports those very cuts. It's like voting for someone who promises to burn down the house, then getting mad when your living room catches fire. Quite an irony, isn't it? And now the frustration is boiling over. Social media is filled with comments like, we didn't think Trump would take from us. And I thought he was only cutting the illegals and welfare queens. But this is what happens when political messaging replaces reality. The truth is, the majority of welfare recipients in the US are working class Americans, no doubt, statistically proven. Now, many of them white, many of them rural, and yes, many of them Republican voters. Now, don't get me wrong. It's easy to laugh at the hypocrisy, right? But there's also a real human story here. There are families with kids, right? Elderly folks and veterans who genuinely need that assistance. The tragedy isn't just political irony, it's the fact that so many were misled into voting against their own well being. When politicians or political leaders convince you that others are the problem, immigrants, city dwellers, minorities, right? It becomes easier to support policies that ultimately harm everyone, including yourself. And now, as winter approaches, rural food banks are running out, housing vouchers are shrinking, and local communities are realizing the cruel truth. Ideology doesn't put food on the table, right? It's the fact, but it's quite cruel. So here we are, rural MAGA America staring down the consequences of the very small government they demanded. No more Section 8, fewer food stamps, and a government that's all too happy to say, you wanted independence, you got it. Maybe this is a wake-up call, a chance for people to realize that political loyalty doesn't fill your pantry. Policy does. But the real question is, will it change anything? Will voters connect the dots next time around? Or will the blame just shift again to immigrants, to blue states, to anyone but the people writing the laws? What do you think? Will this be the moment that wakes rural America up, or just another chapter in the cycle of self-inflicted pain? Drop your thoughts in the comments below and let's talk about it. And as always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more reality checks and real talk. Until next time, stay informed and stay questioning. Credit belongs to original creators. I'll see you guys on my next video. Thank you guys. Keep subscribing.